Hey, welcome back to Fox Weather Now. Fox Weather is your hurricane HQ, and with the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season just around the corner now, a little something that we're watching way out in forecast model land. Believe it or not, this is not unusual. We see May systems develop. Sometimes they can be hybrid, they can be a little ragged, but they happen before the season officially starts. And you're seeing evidence of that right there. May Atlantic tropical systems. We've had 29 tropical storms. 4 of those have become hurricanes. So it is not unusual at all to be talking about at least the possibility as we move through this month of May of some development occurring. We want to show you what our Fox Weather hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, has to say about all of this. And his quote, he said it as only Brian can say. There is consensus among the various computer model forecasts that a broad area of low pressure will develop from the Pacific across Central America to Colombia. But the GFS is an outlier in pulling an organized system north in the Caribbean and developing a tropical low in the Pacific. We've seen this kind of over-eager development in the long-range time periods by the GFS at times, so it's best to ignore it without support from conventional models or the new AI models. They love it. Again, Brian is a matter-of-fact dude, yep. And boy is he spot on when we're talking about a time scale like this. But it tells us that we're going to have to start switching into tropical mode in our mindset.
I agree. I mean, looking at the long-range models, you get into fairy tale land. Sometimes I like to peek in because it can give us a hint, an indicator as to what could be coming down the line. But you really take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But to your point, and to what Brian's point is, it's a bigger conversation as to, hey, this can happen. It's not unusual. So let's talk more about that.
Yeah, if we had $5 for every 10-day hurricane on the GFS.
There's going to be, especially the GFS.
You have a nice-looking retirement account, no question. But these are the preseason tropical storms just from 2015 to 2024. We had that active run. Each year we had a preseason system. There was chatter, hey, maybe we should start the hurricane season early. I call them throwaway storms, though, or oftentimes subtropical or hybrid storms. Characteristics of what you see in the higher latitudes with some funky tropical stuff happening too.
Yeah, I think we had that strange run, but it's not always the case. I mean, the following year we had nothing.
Yeah.
And then last year we didn't get our first tropical system until June. So I think leaving hurricane season right where we're at is probably a good deal because really a bona fide system, you have to have all those perfect ingredients laid up. And this early in the year, you just don't have it. I mean, one of the big ingredients that we talked about at nauseam the last several years was how warm the water temperatures are. They're still warm, but believe it or not, they've cooled down going into this season.
They're a little bit more reasonable, right? They're above average for what we would consider across the last few decades, but not boiling what we saw over the last 2 seasons. So that's a good thing at least. And you had mentioned the atmosphere, what's going on above the water is typically so hostile in the early part of the season, but you only need a little pocket for something to develop. And in a large-scale sense, another long-range factor, the Madden-Julian oscillation, just a pocket of rising air that finds its way along the tropical regions. Maybe that is a touch more favorable middle of the month.
The MJO, right, it's this cycle that occurs every about 90 days or so. And so when we look in the short range, we're in, sinking air, not very favorable for anything upstairs, but maybe towards the end of the month,
that's
we could maybe see a more favorable environment upstairs with that rising air. And that's exactly where we have this potential zone setting up in the Southern Caribbean and then back into the Eastern Pacific.
Right, and this comes from NOAA. It's not some polygon that we drew on. And it just tells us that, large-scale ascent is reasonable in this overall zone. Doesn't tell us much about what could occur because it can't be known at this time scale. Southwestern part of the Caribbean, somewhere over Central America, or even out in the Eastern Pacific. And it's something you and I were talking about. Over on the Pacific side, this would make a lot more sense.
Right on cue. May 15th begins the Eastern Pacific hurricane season. So, this push of moisture, rising air, as Brian Norcross mentioned in his quote, broad circulation, not unreasonable to set up by the end of the month. It's just a matter of if we get a broad circulation, do we get a low pressure system to develop within that broad circulation, and where is it? Is it in the Caribbean or is it in the EPAC? which would make sense.
Guidance is we're not using the word gyre. Looked a little gyry. Big area of spin over Central America.
Come back to us next week. Maybe we'll be a little.
Yeah. It's just way too nebulous at this time scale. But this is the tropical cyclone frequency for the East Pacific.
And it fires up pretty evenly, I would say, from start to finish. Whereas when you look at the Atlantic Basin, we kind of have a slow burn, then a peak, and then a drop off.
Yeah.
I would say this is pretty reasonable to say that we could get a system pretty quickly.
That's a good point to make. Oh, it's kind of fast and furious on the Pacific side. It starts earlier and there's action, whereas the Atlantic side, we go slow, 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 and then there's that big spike August and September.
Right. So I think all of this to say, I mean, we're watching the models just as much as anybody else is, I'm sure, but we're locked in to just preparing for this season. We're going to talk a lot about that in the weeks coming up on how you can just get ready, talk to your family, and have what you need going into this Atlantic season.
Yeah. Start shifting into that mindset as we're just a few weeks out now from being in another hurricane season.